What's going on, guys? It's Greg here today, and I'm bringing you a Call of Duty Vanguard gameplay commentary. This will be a breakdown. This is a 10 versus 10, I believe, kill confirmed on the map Bocage. I was using the NZ41. This is why I was originally going for gold on this gun. It's quite an old gameplay. But anyways, one of the things I like to do on Bocage is I really like to try to get a pick mid, and then I try to like to run one of the outer lanes just so that way I can start getting a few more picks and try to play for map control. I'm going to go ahead and explain this a little bit further through old trusty Photoshop here, as you guys seem to like it in one of the past ones. So we spawned over here on this side, and the enemy is spawning on this side. So normally I like to try to contest somewhere around here right off the rip to get a pick or two. Main reason being is B flag in domination is right here. So if we go by domination, there's a flag here, there's a flag here, and there's the flag in the middle. So since this is a kill confirm match, you don't have to worry about any sort of power positions around the B or anything like that, because kill confirmed and team deathmatch are going to have their own natural flow where enemies are going to be going for tags, or you're going to be going for tags or whatever. So I usually like to start off and try to get a pick towards the middle. You can even jump into this room, look out this way. You could potentially split off and just go straight out this doorway and head out over here. There's a lot of different options you have whenever it comes to trying to get some map flow right off the beginning of the match. But my personal favorite isn't necessarily this side whenever we're spawning on this side, as you can see in this gameplay. And the reason being is because whenever you come over here, right, let's say you come through and you go ahead and you're at this area right here where this little haystack is, there's going to be a lot of people that might push out this way. They come out over this way. There's going to be a guy maybe up top that hopped up over here. Or there could be a guy coming from underneath. And if you want to try to attack their spawn or kill people as they're spawning in over here, you're not really going to do that over here. It's a good spot to hold down maybe once the match has already started. But right off the rip, I'd recommend just pushing right through. Maybe pushing up out here and something of that nature. So a little bit different. Back to my opening route, maybe get a pick or two right here, and then see if there's anyone down here and try pushing up here, because now, you know, enemies are going to have to funnel from this different directions here. Occasionally one might sneak through, but hopefully some of your teammates are pushed up into here, or maybe they also have gone out this way. So you still want to be mindful of this spot right here, but this right here is where the majority of people are going to be coming through. So now you guys should understand exactly why I made that rush route. And as you guys can see right here, I can pretty much attack their spawn and try to get some kill streaks right off the rip of the match. And that's one of the reasons why I really like to run these aggressive routes on the rip of kill confirm matches, is because sometimes you can get away with and streak up pretty quickly, and you can set the tone for the match. Now unfortunately, I was taken out as a guy came around and he killed me. So usually whenever something like that happens, I'm typically going to try to go back the same way if it looks like there's not a lot of action going on there. If this was contested now and there's a lot of enemies over here, then obviously I'm going to go ahead and switch up my route that I'm going to take. But it didn't seem that way, so at this point in the match, I can kind of just go back and maybe attack a little bit of a different area, because as I can see where my teammates are positioned, they're not really contesting a lot of the map. A lot of them are kind of hiding back a little bit. So that tells me that they could either be on the other side, that lane I told you guys I don't really want to peek right off the rip of this game. So that's why, again, still over here, because I figure, you know what, there's probably a good bit over there. Maybe I can pick some off as they're trying to push that lane. And as I can see, my teammates are kind of positioned more on the side where I'm at. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of stick over here. I have one of my friends, he pushed up over here as well, so I feel a little bit safer being over here. But unfortunately, I ended up getting taken out by an STG. This is whenever the STG was still a 2-shot kill. So yeah, I was using the 3-shot NZ with a slower fire rate versus the 2-shot STG. You guys can pretty much tell how that one was going to break out. I'm really glad that they ended up fixing that. I don't really think the STGs is overpowered, as a lot of people still claim it is. I think it's overused. But ever since they nerfed that can no longer 2-shot, I think it's more balanced. I wouldn't say it's definitely, you know, an extremely balanced gun by any means, but anyways, moving on. At this point, as you guys can see, I have tried 2 different routes to streak up. I have some streaks down and out already, so at this point, whenever streaks are out, I am not really going to worry about where I'm trying to push, because streaks are going to create flow of their own. So that's why I'm going to get a little bit more aggressive. I'm going to start taking the routes that maybe I say aren't really all that great whenever you don't have a lot of backup, but instead I can go ahead and peek here for some long shots and stuff like that, because especially because I was camo grinding, I'm trying to make my own flow on the map for specific camo challenges as well. So you guys can see here, I apologize for noise in the background, but you guys can see here I'm pretty much just picking people off as they're coming out of this, because in their spawn, and I'll go ahead and pull out our magic Photoshop here again. Alright, so here we are again back in the magic Photoshop. So as you guys can see, I was standing around right here, and the reason I was just using this for long shots is because enemies can only peek from here. Might be able to come up to this tank. They're gonna have to either go this way or this way, but a lot of the times if you're killing a couple guys, they're gonna keep coming back. So you kind of create your own flow and people just keep coming back, and you should be able to get a couple picks from them from this area. Now I will say it doesn't work all the time. Occasionally people just stop coming this way and they'll just go this way or sit here. So at that point, that's whenever you kind of got to make your decision. And are you going to push up? Now it's risky to push up because again, they can still come back to this area, so maybe that's not the best idea. But what if we go ahead and say that since this is a possibility, they're coming out this way, what if we go ahead and we take a little hop here on this, and maybe we have a couple allies over here, and they can watch just in case some enemies start coming here. We could hop up on here, get up top here, and now we can watch bottom of the barn, and we could also watch if they're flanking over at this area while we're up top of this room. So there's a lot of different things you can use, a lot of little IQ plays depending on spawn flow and the traffic. So like I said, if they're not coming this way and they haven't come in a while, it might be safe to go up here, but just remember there's still risk. But that's just to gain this position right here. Now I am aware that I made mention that there's some risk on that rotation that I showed you guys, but here's the thing, right? You don't want to make a very, very long rotation, and as you guys can see, this one is able to work for me because I have teammates pushed up, right? But you don't want to always make a very long rotation, because the problem is if you take too much time to rotate, teammates might get to a spot where they can flip spawn, or the enemies might be flipped otherwise because of just how the map influence is going. Maybe enemies might be able to push out too many of your teammates, and you'll be left in a spot where you are by yourself. So you really want to try to get somewhere with the least amount of risk and the most amount of reward whenever it comes to a rotation to a spot where more enemies are going to be. But you should always know that these rotations are not 100%. Sometimes they are 50-50, other times the odds are even worse. It's just you got to know when to take it, you got to understand the flow, and you got to really read where your teammates are at. I feel like a lot of people use the mini-map for the wrong reason. There's a reason I don't use the radar perk whenever I'm playing the game. I don't feel radar is necessary in about 90% of the game modes in this game. I would say that you should run radar if you're playing search and destroy. It would make sense because not a lot of people are probably running suppressors and S&D, as well as usually there's less player counts. I also feel that the radar perk would be very useful in something like 6 versus 6, or tactical pacing. But even then, forward intel still shows you where people are going to spawn when they're not using cold-blooded. So personally, I feel that a lot of people don't use their radar for the right reasons, and they're too focused on using the radar to look for red dots or just see where enemies are at, and that's they just want to go ahead and chase down where the enemies are. You shouldn't always shoot at every single enemy you see, and the reason being is that sometimes you'd be better off in a better position if you let that one enemy survive and you ended up just taking the time to get into a different area of the match. I do that a lot in my gameplays. There's a lot of gameplays where you might see that I let people live and I don't shoot at everybody I see. And it really just depends on the situations. I might have a match on Berlin where I can show that, so keep an eye out for that. If not, I can always try to get some examples of that whenever it comes to actually knowing when to shoot an enemy and when to not shoot an enemy, because one of the things I always tell people is just because you see an enemy doesn't mean that's your kill. And sure, you see it, and sure, you might want them, but sometimes you might, like I said, you might be better off just letting that guy live so you can get a better position on the map, and you'll get actually more kills. But we'll make a video talking about that, because that's kind of a beast of its own, because you kind of have to understand who it is you're looking at on the other, that's on the other team that you're about to let get away. Also, you got to know like where they're going to be possibly headed. There's a lot of things that go into that, so I'm going to make another video dedicated to that, and hopefully I can find some footage on my hard drive. If not, of course, I'm going to have to wait till I can play again after all this medical stuff is over with. But anyways, that's pretty much today's gameplay. I don't really think there's too much more that goes on in the background here, but yeah, that's a little bit of Bocage, 10 versus 10 kill confirmed. A little bit of an old school gameplay commentary that you guys may or may not know me for. I tend to like to break down these gameplays so you guys can understand what's going on in my mind. And nowadays, we have Photoshop, and I tried it out for the first time with a team deathmatch guide, and I think you guys really seem to like to have Photoshop stuff. So again, if you're new to the channel, I know a lot of you guys are not subscribed, so I really appreciate if you guys subscribe to the channel. I'd also appreciate if you drop me a rating, so that way I know if you're enjoying the content or not. Leave me a comment, give me some feedback, whatnot, and let me know, do you guys also enjoy the Photoshop part? So, anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Big bots.
You managed to impress.
Come on, man. Let me get these long shots, team.
Nice. 6 tag.
Dude ran right into the fucking grenade like a dummy.
Yo,
I'm
I have this gun fully maxed out.